We had ourselves an incredible Sunday of NBA basketball, 2 game sevens. We got to talk about that. Even though this is a Warriors program, there is a correlation, though. There is a tie-in to the Warriors in the sense that what happened in one of those 2 game sevens could affect the Golden State Warriors. I'll explain what I mean next. And Brandin Podziemski, congratulations, kid. The youngest member of the Golden State Warriors was just selected to the first team all rookie squad. Congratulations, brother. You did good. Trayce Jackson-Davis almost made the second team. It's a little heartbreaking how close it was. And the reason for it, we'll get into that next. This is Locked On Warriors.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. It's where we're exclusively live, although not today. Apologize. Long story, had some technical difficulties, but regardless, most of the time we're live and you can only catch that on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use the code all lowercase LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. You can follow me, Cyrus Saatsaz, on Threads at Dog Wild. The program is also on there at Locked On Warriors. Have to start off first and foremost with those game sevens. The New York Knicks, unfortunately, and look, this is what you get with Tom Thibodeau. All right. Great coach. He's had a lot of fantastic results, especially in the postseason, but he also is notorious for running his players to the ground. He does not care about minute restrictions. He's all about gamers. He's all about who's willing to put their bodies on the line. Brilliant defensive mind, but unfortunately, this is the downside, all right? Bodies get lost when you work them to death like Tom Thibodeau often does with his squad. Now, the good news for the Knicks is you have a very bright future ahead of you. You're a piece, maybe two away from being a legitimate title contender. Congratulations to the Knicks for a great run. Congratulations to the Indiana Pacers, who are now going to get their booties slapped by the Boston Celtics. I predict a gentleman's sweep in that series. Draymond Green has predicted something similar. We'll talk about Draymond in a second. He's going to be a topic on the show today. I'll explain what I mean in moments pertaining to that. But the real game seven, the main event of yesterday was Timberwolves Nuggets, a game that it was riveting. I mean, that entire series is one we're going to see highlights of for many years to come. And for the sixth straight year, a defending world champion couldn't get past the conference semis. And for the first time, I believe, in nearly 50 years, we're going to have a new champion for the sixth straight year. That hasn't happened since, I think, 1975. Don't quote me on that. I randomly came across that stat earlier today about the unusualness of parity in the NBA. Congratulations, Adam Silver. You wanted it. You now got it. But this Minnesota Timberwolves team could be a dynasty of their own, considering Anthony Edwards is only 22 years old. Unbelievable. Props to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, after the game, Mike Malone, who I have mixed feelings about, I think the guy could be at times a bit pompous, and this clip is no exception to that. This was Mike Malone after the game, being incredibly emotional, and he didn't like the question asked of him. You'll understand what I mean in just a moment when you hear the clip. Here was Mike Malone after the Nuggets being eliminated from Game 7 and no longer being able to defend their world championship.
How hard is it just to absorb a loss like this after going ahead by 20?
Next question, man. The season's over. The season's over. You don't understand that. The season's over. It's hard. Stupid ass questions.
Now, look, I don't know who the reporter was who asked that, but I don't agree with Mike Malone's highly disrespectful comment. They were saying that was a, quote, stupid ass question, unquote. That was a question that's asked a million times when you're the head coach of a team that loses a game 7 as you're defending your title. We want to know how you feel, coach. Sorry, that is not a dumb question. I know you're in your feelings, but take it easy on attacking a reporter for just doing their job. That was asinine. Now, the Warriors correlation in regards to this series. One interesting thing I noticed from the Denver Nuggets is that Michael Porter Jr. was not finishing games. He fell out of favor with Mike Malone. And again, like we saw Christian Brown in the lineup finishing games over Michael Porter Jr. The why of that is a mystery. But Michael Porter Jr. stands 6'10", 6'11". He's got a lethal three-point shot. And given the Nuggets just got eliminated, it's highly unlikely that the Denver Nuggets are just going to run it back with the same squad. And given Michael Porter Jr., now look, I've criticized his acumen myself. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. He's not the brightest mind in any circle that he's in, but dude can play basketball. I saw someone on Threads, because I originally wrote this on there, the idea of Mike Dunleavy Jr. at a minimum taking a good hard look at Michael Porter Jr. for the Warriors. Because in my opinion, he could be exactly what they need. Steve Kerr has talked about the Warriors needing shooting. It's no secret this team is small and needs size. And even Steve Kerr, thankfully, now admits to that. A little too late, coach, but better late than never. And with Michael Porter Jr., you're getting someone who is huge. You're getting someone who's a lethal three-point shooter. He is not a liability defensively. He's not a defensive. He's not what you would think of in terms of lockdown defenders, but he's not a liability in that regard either. And if you add a Michael Porter Jr. to your squad, now you have the size in your starting lineup to compete with Minnesota, to compete with Boston, to compete with Denver, who's still going to be the mix for years to come. So Michael Porter Jr. to the Golden State Warriors. All I'm asking is take a hard look at it. I'm not saying it's realistic or possible. Who knows? But what I am saying is the Denver Nuggets are a team that's probably going to be making some changes. And they just showed in this series that Michael Porter Jr. does not appear to be in their plans for the long run. Because if he was, he would be finishing those games. So it's important to note that the players finishing games are the ones that head coaches trust the most. So the fact that Michael Porter Jr. was not finishing those games tells me something happened there between him and Mike Malone, or something happened in Mike Malone's head where he's thinking, this guy is not it. And if you're the Golden State Warriors and you're looking at a potential starting five, hear me out for 1 second. Steph, Kuminga, Michael Porter Jr., Draymond Green, Trayce Jackson-Davis, you've got a squad. You've got a squad right there that can compete with the best, because you're not sacrificing your shooting. You're basically swapping Clay for Michael Porter Jr., but you're getting a hell of a lot bigger. Kuminga suddenly becomes your 2. And I'm saying sign me up for that. So just an idea to throw out there. That's what I took away from that incredible conference semis between the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. Congratulations to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I love Anthony Edwards already. Breaks my heart that the Warriors did not pursue him. He was a realistic option in 2020. Friendly reminder, the Minnesota Timberwolves wanted to swap picks with the Golden State Warriors, And as we learned last offseason during the FIBA World Cup, I believe it was international play, that Steve Kerr never seriously considered Anthony Edwards because of his work ethic. Anyways, yeah, that always just makes me not very happy when I think about that. But nonetheless, when we come back, I want to talk about Brandin Podziemski. The kid was just named to the NBA first team all-rookie squad. First team. There's only 5 of those. And sad to say, Trayce Jackson-Davis just missed out. Well, I'll talk about that as well. But we're going to give Brandin Podziemski his due, his love that is well-deserved after we pay some bills. And first up on the agenda for today's show is Yahoo Finance. Really stoked. That is a prestigious client to have as a sponsor. Stoked on that. Wouldn't it be great if you could see all your investment and retirement accounts in one place? With Yahoo Finance, you can consolidate your views from multiple accounts into one hub and access the expert analysis you need to tend to your entire portfolio with confidence. Let's get straight to the point. You want to grow your portfolio to deal with the rising costs of corporate greed, to pay off your debt or your mortgage, pretty much anything standing in the way of you and financial freedom. With Yahoo Finance, you can get access to the news, data, and tools that you need in order to help reach that financial freedom. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or looking for that extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need in one place. They are the #1 finance destination, producing a holistic look at the financial news cycle, including breaking news, original editorial perspectives, analyst ratings, independent research, customizable charts, and so much more. Securely link your brokerage accounts for a unified view of your wealth, including 401k and other investments. A comprehensive perspective is what sets apart great investors, and it's how Yahoo Finance ensures you have the insight to look at your wealth in its entirety. With a community of over 90 million users each month, their real strength is helping you on your way to financial success. So for comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com, the #1 financial destination, yahoofinance.com. One more time, that's yahoofinance.com. And today's episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks, which is such a fun app. They've got promos running left and right. The NBA playoffs are in full steam right now. And again, if you live in California, Prize Picks is legal. You read that? You heard that or saw me say that correctly. Prize Picks is legal in California. It's daily fantasy made easy, and it's legal, folks. You can literally play here in California. Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. One more time. Download the Prize Pick app today and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for a first deposit match up to $100.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Do you have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So Brandin Podziemski and the Golden State Warriors had a press conference today to announce the fact that he made the NBA All-Rookie First Team. How have I been saying that? I feel like I've been saying that incorrectly. Well, regardless, congratulations to Brandin Podziemski. I want to first show you the voting in terms of who made the team besides Brandon. Let me present that for all the YouTube viewers. And if you're on the podcast, I'll articulate how the voting went down. Let me zoom in. All right, there we go. So on the first team, 2 players tied with 99 first place votes and 198 total points. And that was Victor Wembanyama of the San Antonio Spurs and Chet Holmgren of the OKC Thunder, who, side note, little surprising that they got eliminated. And for those of you out there who think it's foolish to make a midseason trade, because I've heard that nonsense from quite a few fans and analysts, the quote unquote experts out there, if you're of the belief that it is not smart to make a midseason trade,
that's ignorant.
It is. It is absolutely ignorant.
It's ignorant. You're being ignorant.
And this series, this Mavericks OKC Thunder series, is a perfect example of that, because the Dallas Mavericks do not win that series without making the trade that brought them PJ Washington and that big bruising center. And meanwhile, Daniel Gafford. And meanwhile, the OKC Thunder, for puzzling reasons, did not make a midseason trade. Technically, they did. They got Gordon Hayward, but that was mostly a financial decision made largely in part to have a contract or series of contracts expire after the season so they could save some money. Foolish mistake. The Dallas Mavericks made a midseason trade that brought them a force inside in Gafford and PJ Washington, who gives you size and defense and stretches the floor with 3-point shooting, and it paid off. And this is why, again, when there's just a lot of people out there, and Steve Kerr has said this repeatedly, how he doesn't like midseason trades. There's no good reason for that. Okay. If you're a good coach, you can assimilate these new players fast and effectively. And if you're a good team and the players you trade for are talented, they will fit and they will deliver. The Mavericks are further evidence of that. I digress. Chet Holmgren was on the losing side, but him and Victor Wembanyama both unanimously on the first team all-rookie team. Brandon Miller, the number 2 pick in the draft last year of the Charlotte Hornets, got 97 first-place votes, won second-place vote, 195 total votes. Jaime Jaquez Jr. of the Miami Heat got the 4th most first-place votes with 89. He got 10 second-place votes, had 188 total votes, or total points, I'm sorry. And then Brandin Podziemski was 5th. There's a good, decent amount of votes that separated him from who was 6th, which was Derek Lively of the Dallas Mavericks. Brandin Podziemski, congratulations. 64 first-place votes, 33 second-place votes, for 161 total points. Good for 5th. Good for making the first team. Bravo, kid. That is an absolutely incredible and impressive achievement. Props to Mike Dunleavy Jr. for drafting this kid. And then the second round, we're going to hear some clips in just a moment, because, again, they had a press conference today. I actually attended it virtually, but still, thank you for the invite. Was thinking about getting a question in there, but I decided not to. I don't know why, but I didn't. Second team, Derek Lively, got 26 first-place votes, 67 second-place votes, 119 points total. Amen Thompson of the Houston Rockets had 10 first-place votes, 100 points total. Keontae George of the Utah Jazz also made the second team. Cason Wallace of the OKC Thunder. This is the only one that to me was a little meh. Like, I would have preferred Trayce Jackson-Davis getting in here over Cason Wallace, who also made one of the 2 teams, made the second team. And then Gigi Jackson of the Memphis Grizzlies rounds out your second team. Gigi Jackson was actually 8th in total first place votes. Now, the chart that is colossally disappointing. And these are the individuals who just missed out. First up on the list, Trayce Jackson-Davis of the Golden State Warriors finished just 1 point shy of making that second team. Just 1 point. Gigi Jackson finished with 43 points. Trayce Jackson-Davis finished with 42. And really the difference between those 2 points and those two players in terms of voting is Gigi Jackson got 5 first place votes. Trayce Jackson-Davis got 0. But Gigi Jackson got 33 second place votes. Trayce Jackson-Davis got 42 second place votes. But again, it came down to 1 point, and it does beg the question. Had Steve Kerr played this kid from the beginning of the season, instead of going with that ridiculous small ball lineup for well over half the year, I mean, Trayce wasn't starting games until the last month or so, and all of a sudden, oh, wow, big surprise. The Warriors were successful having a traditional center out there. So it's a shame. It's a shame. You could easily make the argument that Steve Kerr is literally responsible for Trayce Jackson-Davis not making the all-rookie second team. Oscar Thompson of the Detroit Pistons. This is someone who the Warriors were seriously looking at in the NBA draft last year. Was just behind Trayce Jackson-Davis with 35 total points. Other important names to note, Scoot Henderson actually got 1 first place vote despite a disappointing season. Finished with 33 points. And then Cam Whitmore, the individual I was advocating for back then, I'm happy with Brandin Podziemski now, got 3 second place votes, 3 points total. So those are your all rookie teams, your NBA all rookie squads. Congratulations to the squad. When we come back, we will hear from Brandin Podziemski from his press conference earlier today. And we'll also hear from an NBA legend who came out and personally applauded him for good reason. Let's first give some love to our final sponsor of the day, and that is FanDuel, the official sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, you name it. That money is yours to use how you want with FanDuel, and all you have to do is win a $5 bet. So forget the money line. Bet on the heaviest favorite imaginable, place $5 down. You're not going to get much back for that bet because heavy favorites give you really, really ridiculously bad odds for good reason. But you win that $5 bet, you get $150 more right into your account. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. For the everydayers, again, Mark Jones, one of the 2 voices of the NBA, him and Mike Breen. He's going to be joining the program soon. Mark Spears of ESPN. He's had a lot of Warriors games. He's going to be joining the program. I just heard back. Should be a fun time. And I'm also going to start bringing viewers and listeners, supporters, fans. You're going to be coming on this show throughout the summer. I want to hear from you. I want new, fresh perspectives. Call me an idiot for even talking about Michael Porter Jr. That is your right. Whatever you want to talk about. If you follow me on Threads at Dog Wild, tag me on there, reply to one of my posts, hit me up. I'll tell you how you can actually come on the program. And on that note, we also have an opportunity for prospective small businesses or big businesses, whoever you are, to actually be a sponsor of this program. We have limited spaces available for local sponsors. Again, I brought this up a few weeks ago. We had some great leads. Unfortunately, they fell through. So I'm bringing it up again. If you're interested in sponsoring this program, limited slots available, and I will give you so much love. We will make you thrive and succeed. We can broadcast from your location. You control the ad copy. I become your friend. It's a win-win for everyone involved. Email warriors24pod@gmail.com. Again, warriors24pod@gmail.com if you're interested in sponsoring Locked On Warriors locally. When I say locally, I don't just mean geographically. I mean a sponsor that isn't these huge national ones that you hear us read every day. Be part of the program. I recommend it. Let's hear from Brandin Podziemski. I first want to play a soundbite not from his press conference today, but this was from his exit interview last month. I believe that's what it was, where he was asked what this offseason is going to entail. How and what should he work on to improve? Let's hear from Brandin Podziemski, one of the 5 members of the all-rookie first team. Here's Pods.
I think the ball will be in my hands a little bit more and just being more efficient, trying to take the burden kind of off Steph and Draymond's shoulders. How can the rest of our guys just impact things? I think a lot of times when we got into games that really mattered or we really need to win, we kind of just defer to Steph. And I think that's natural just because of the level, that he's at and that he's been doing for so long. But I think for our other guys, it's just how can we impact games that are meaningful and, take the burden off his shoulders. I think that naturally, comes with your second year of improving. But just in all facets of the game, continue to elevate my assist to turnover ratio, try to lead the team in rebounding again, just all that kind of stuff that impacts winning at a high level. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be in the play-in anymore. I had my little taste of it, and it was terrible. So just getting that top 6 seed every year is something I look forward to.
I love hearing that. Get sick of it. Hate that play-in. Hate being a lottery team. I love it. Weird but true, by the way. Technically speaking, Brandin Podziemski did lead the Warriors in rebounding this year because Draymond Green only played approximately 55 games, so his stats did not count in the final recordings. Brandin Podziemski's did. Let's take a quick look at his stats on the year for this bright kid. The youngest player on the Warriors, him and Jonathan Kuminga, the 2 youngest players. And this is the question. I was just really busy this morning with a lot of stuff going on, so I'm observing the press conference. I wanted to ask a question. The opportunity was available for me. And what I wanted to ask was his relationship with Jonathan Kuminga, the second youngest player in the Warriors. Those 2 are the youngest. They represent the future of the Warriors. They were just seen hanging out together at a women's soccer match just the other day here in the Bay Area. So they're socializing together. It's great to see. I posted those pictures on my Threads account. Follow me there at Dog Wild. So Podziemski on the year in his rookie season finished the year averaging 26.6 minutes per game, started 28 games, played 74 total, averaged 9.2 points per game. His 5.8 rebounds per game. Again, technically led the Golden State Warriors, even though Draymond Green averaged, I believe, 7.2 on the year. Yes, he did. But Draymond Green also played just 55 games, not enough to qualify. So Brandin Podziemski, technically speaking, yes, led the Warriors in rebounding this year, which is really crazy. Now, some stats he needs to improve on. Case in point is free throw percentage. He only shot 63.3% from the line. Interesting side note. Funny how so many of you criticize Jonathan Kuminga for his free throw shooting, even though he finished around, 74%. I never heard one person complain about Brandin Podziemski's free throw shooting, 63.3%. So that number needs to go up. His three-point shooting, good, not great. Good is still good. That's not a criticism. 38.5% three-point shooting on the year. That's solid. he shot over 60% from three in the month of April. Now, granted, this is a small sample size. He played, 6-7 games in April, but nonetheless, for someone who shot over 43% from deep in college, I expect great things from this kid in terms of his outside shooting. He's going to space the floor. And his field goal percentage is solid 45.4% on the year. And as you all know, he led the NBA in charges. Just a gritty, tough player. Congratulations to Brandin Podziemski. Only averaged 1.2 turnovers per game as well. That's a solid number. And now let's hear from Brandin Podziemski talking about what it means to make the all NBA rookie first team? I feel like I'm butchering that proper vernacular, the proper nomenclature, but I digress. Here is Podziemski talking about what being a first team all rookie member means.
It means a lot. In the offseason, you think about, your journey, where you came from, what steps it took to get here. Being the 19th pick in an organization where not a lot of rookies get to play, and ending up on first team all rookie, it's a credit to my work ethic, but also to my teammates and, the coaches in the front office for, providing opportunity, and then me just, taking full advantage of it. But it means a lot. It's something that I had on a goal list of mine coming into the year, and I got to check that box. So it's pretty cool because you only can be a rookie one time.
Yes, sir. Congratulations. And he also got some love, and the Golden State Warriors posted this on their social media accounts from a legendary point guard. He was briefly a member of the Warriors organization as a player consultant. I can't remember his exact title, but Steve Nash giving some love to the young kid.
Brandin, big congrats on making the all-rookie team. Very well deserved. Been a lot of fun watching you play, watching you develop, becoming a big part of what the Dubs are doing. Can't wait to watch the rest of your career unfold. Keep putting that work in. Big congrats and good luck, my man.
And also fellow Santa Clara alum as well, Steve Nash. Not a lot of Santa Clara Bronco players ending up making first team all rookie squads in the NBA. So kudos again to Brandin Podziemski for making that. And last but not least, I want to quickly mention Draymond Green. So apparently, if what I read is correct, Draymond's going to be part of the Inside the NBA on TNT broadcast crew for the Western Conference Finals. And this is drawing the ire of numerous Timberwolves fans because following game 5, when the Nuggets won their third straight game and took a 3-2 series lead, a commanding 3-2 series lead over the Minnesota Timberwolves, Draymond wrote them off. Draymond and Anthony Edwards also had that on-court skirmish earlier this season, in case you forgot about that. No secret about Draymond's disdain for Rudy Gobert. And now he's going to be in the building. The Inside the NBA crew follows the series by location. A sad side note, might be the last time following Game 7 on Sunday, just yesterday. I feel like that was like a week ago. When the Inside the NBA crew was broadcasting in studio, that might have been the last time they ever do that, because this new media rights deal, from what I've heard from multiple sources, and I've talked about this previously, I believe last week, very likely that TNT is going to lose out on the bidding, and their parent company, Warner, reportedly is not going to outbid NBC. And even though Charles Barkley and Kenny the Jet Smith will likely, and maybe Shaquille O'Neal, I don't know what his future holds, but even though they will likely migrate to whoever becomes the new home, I've read that Ernie Johnson will not. He's loyal to TNT. Shaquille O'Neal, I have no clue what he's going to do. But this could be the end of such an incredible era of decades of fantastic coverage of the NBA by an amazing crew that entertains first and foremost. You don't go there necessarily for the analysis. You go there for the laughs. And Draymond Green's going to join them. So that should be interesting. I love hearing Draymond's insights, and that should be fun. But congratulations one more time to Brandin Podziemski. Sorry, Trayce Jackson-Davis, for falling one vote short of making the second team. Steve Kerr for you folks. There you go. We'll be back at this soon. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today, and hope you all are doing well out there. Thank you. Bye-bye.